Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming in person and online. My name is Kelsey Taylor. I have worked here at Good Shepherd for about 10 months now. I'm the practice manager for cardiology and pulmonology. And today I'm going to be talking about healthy device boundaries. So I have worked in healthcare administration since college. I got my degree in healthcare administration. I've worked in an orthopedic practice, primary care, home health, and now, of course, the clinics, which is really fun. I apologize in advance. I have a scratchy throat. My daughter shared her lovely dermies with me, and so if I'm coughing or I take a break for water, that's your warning. If we get people trickling in, that's okay. So before I get started, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about my cell phone journey. So I started as a cell phone user in about 2002 with the really, really good Nokia phones that you can throw off a balcony and they still survive, right? And so I mainly used it for the little snake game and phone calls. And then text messages became the thing, and you only had 200 a month, so I wasn't on my phone a ton for text messages. But then the smartphone came, the iPhone came out, and you got all these cool apps and cool games and text messages and FaceTime and music, and then it hooked up to your car, and then the iPad was there, and then the laptop that you carried everywhere. And I'm guilty that I've used all of these things for almost 15 years. And I'm not going to lie, it's gotten worse. So this presentation is as much for you guys as it is for me. So really quick, before I jump into the next slide, I would like to invite you, and you don't have to, but I'd like to invite you to turn your cell phones off. Not all the way off, just silence them so that you don't get notifications. I'm personally going to go ahead and take my watch off. And I'm going to set my cell phone by my bag so it's out of sight, out of mind. And I want to do this intentionally with everyone. If you're online, I'd invite you to do the same thing. Turn your phone off and put it away from your desk or workspace. And the reason we're doing this is because we're learning about healthy cell phone and device use, right? And so other than these girls who are running the meeting, I don't see any laptops, which is great. Other than you, but you're fine. And so just to have 15, 20 minutes of being present with each other, focusing and being engaged is the goal with having cell phones on. So we're going to talk about average cell phone and device usage. We're going to talk about the harmful impacts, healthy and unhealthy device usage, and then some tools and tricks for how to use devices in a healthy way. They're tools. That's what they are. They're there to serve a purpose. And when we have healthy boundaries with them, then they're great tools. And when we cross over into using them in ways that aren't great for us, then they're not good tools. So average cell phone use. Overall, every American is on their cell phone between 4.5 and 5.5 hours per day. This is cell phones, you guys. This does not include computers. This does not include the TV that I have at night when I fall asleep. This does not include other devices. This is cell phones. So raise your hand if you think you're under 4 hours. Okay, awesome. Raise your hand if you think you're within this range, 4.5 to 5.5. Awesome. Anybody up to 6? We've got one. We got 2. All right. So Gen Z spends more than 6 hours on average on their phones every day. We look at our phones about 200 times per day, which if you think about it, that's a lot of looks. That's a lot of time. I'm not going to go into this a ton, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of a breakdown. Millennials are actually the users that don't look at their phones as much, baby boomers, and then Gen Z is way out there. So you can kind of see a breakdown of phone addictions, right? And phone addictions are essentially excessive use and excessive use in unhealthy ways. We can also see the rise of cell phone usage through time. It's just gone up exponentially. And the use of the internet, having internet at home, use of social media, have a smartphone, and have a tablet. Those things are also just rising steadily. I don't know anybody who doesn't have at least one device, right? I bet maybe you have a grandma who doesn't have a device, or a grandpa or a great aunt or uncle, but that's because, they use their home phone still. So a cell phone and smartphones are coming up on cell phones very quickly. So almost 100% of adults in the US own a cell phone, and over 80% own a smartphone. In terms of the rise of mobile devices per 100 people, the US actually ranks 8th. So not as bad as I thought. I thought we'd be first, but we actually rank 8th in terms of mobile devices per person. So let's talk about some harmful impacts of excessive device use. Just throw them out there.
Takes away from family time.
Takes away from family time.
Carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel, yes. A surprising one, but it's true.
It is true.
Sleep, yes, effects on sleep. So there are a lot of different things that impact our bodies, our minds, our interactions because of excessive cell phone use. So text neck, sitting like this. I can't tell you how often I'm sitting on my couch like this. And it does cause pain over time, especially when you're doing it for 5 hours a day, right? Which is average. Digital eye strain. More and more people need glasses because we're looking at something that's way too close and way too small. So I didn't need glasses until I started using a smartphone, which is interesting. So if you wear glasses, maybe you have a lot of eye strain because of wearing glasses. One of the things that is helpful is the blue light glasses to make it less reflective. Sleep disturbances. To me, this one is the most important and very interesting because sleep actually devices actually get in the way of your melatonin production and messes with your circadian rhythm, which is the rhythm in which your body wakes and sleeps, and the hormones that have to happen for your body to go to sleep well. I'm guilty of keeping my TV on. It's been a comfort thing forever. Last night, in preparation for this, just to say I turned my TV off before bed. So that was just my personal goal for the night.
Did it make your sleep more difficult?
No, actually, I fell asleep faster and I didn't wake up as much. And I was like, well, dang it, this stuff is right.
Isn't it?
Strain injuries. So like carpal tunnel that you mentioned. Another one is thumb tendonitis. You wouldn't think, but 5 hours of use per day, 4 hours of use per day, as much as you're on emails or text messaging or, scrolling Facebook, it does impact your body. And then reduced physical activity. So there is a correlation. They can't say it's caused by this, but there is a correlation between excessive cell phone and device use and reduced activity. So I can't tell you how many times I've been tired from the day. I've gone home and I've sat down on my couch to watch some TV and scroll social media. And not only am I ignoring all the other things going on in my life, including my family, my friends, my chores, which I don't mind ignoring, but I'm ignoring my physical health. So maybe I'm ordering food instead of making a homemade meal. Maybe I'm not going for a walk with my dog. So there are a lot of things that we do instead of physical activity. I know it's not limited to cell phone use, but it is something to take into consideration. Mental health and cognitive impacts. So addiction and anxiety. There is in teens that use their phones for 4 or more hours per day have a 21% increase in anxiety symptoms. 5 or more hours a day, 71% higher risk for suicidal thoughts. And that's in teens. So the studies that I looked at, that's a bit disturbing to me. That's a lot of people who are having relationships with their phones and what they're doing on their phones that are really negatively impacting them. Attention span. 20, 30 years ago, anybody have a guess for how many minutes our attention span was?
At least an hour.
An hour, okay. 10 minutes, okay.
Yeah,
2.5 minutes to focus on one task without getting distracted. Anybody have a guess to what it is in 2025?
30 seconds.
15 seconds, okay.
30 seconds.
47, actually. But that's a significant difference that you're going to get distracted, whether it be to have a drink of water. It's just when you focus on your task. Reduce social and emotional skills. I don't know about you, but my teenage nephew is 15 and has had a cell phone for about 4 years. And his natural instinct when we have a family get together is to go sit down and be on his phone. So we have to coax him out of that. And he's a good conversationalist, thank goodness, once he's away from his phone. But while he's on it, he's tuned out to the world. So it can hurt emotional regulation, face-to-face interactions, conversations, healthy arguments, all those sorts of things. I don't know how many times my friends will be over and they'll be having text arguments with their husbands as opposed to face-to-face. And I'm like, you're missing a lot of context here with body language, pauses in the conversation, facial expressions. It's just different. And then safety. So privacy, security. Phones can actually interfere with pacemakers and hearing devices if they're in close proximity, which is very interesting. Traffic accidents. So 8% of traffic accident fatalities are caused because of cell phone use or device use. If you are using your phone, you are 240% more likely to get in an accident. Pick up your phone and think about that when you're driving. Like, I'm risking 240% more by picking up my phone and paying attention to it right now. So when is a device a tool and when does it become a problem? Doom scrolling and emotional scrolling. So just Facebook. And I will bet you what, you are probably not seeing 50% of what you want to see on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. It might be things that you're not interested in or that get you riled up or anything. And I feel like I've beaten the internet, you guys, because mine are puppies and kittens and beaches. So I think that I've gotten my algorithm down really good. But that still doesn't mean I don't doom scroll. Ignoring other people, if I had my phone in my hand and I was looking at my phone, you guys wouldn't think I was paying attention to you. The thing about attention is you can't have your attention in lots of different places. You can switch attention, but if I'm on my couch on my phone, my daughter doesn't feel like I'm paying attention to her. And that's true for all family members, right? You're going to pause your conversation. You're going to pause what you're doing if somebody's phone rings or goes off. Checking the phone right when you wake up or looking at screens before bed. Guilty. Who's guilty? Yeah, a lot of us. So we either do one or the other. My toxic trait is I check my calendar for work. And I'm like, I really can just check it when I get there, but I don't. And then avoiding responsibilities, kind of like we talked about, and excessive time spent on social media. One of the things that is really important to note about social media is just how it impacts the way you look at yourself, the comparisons you make, the type of lifestyle that you may be judging yourself about. I see so many people going to, Hawaii, and I'm not going to Hawaii, and then I'm sad that I'm coming to work when really I love my job and I want to be coming to work. So how do we ensure healthy device use? I think this is the most important part because one is identifying the problem, but the bigger is what do we do about the problem? How can we ensure that we're using devices in a healthy way? Set boundaries. So set time aside, and it works different for all of us because some people wake up and they have to check for attendance for their staff for coverage. That's a reasonable use of a device. But other people may not need to check their phone until they've had their shower and a cup of coffee. Create tech-free zones. This is especially helpful for families. Charge your phone outside your room. Phones don't go in the bedrooms. Phones stay in the living rooms or at the dining table when you're not eating. I've done this. We don't take our phones into the bedrooms and like during family time. And it's made a huge difference for my daughter and I. Use do not disturb. Use that often. Be selfish with do not disturb. Right now, nobody needs your attention for the next 10 minutes. You can focus, and only for 47 seconds, but you can focus on what we're going through and hopefully learn something. Set examples for kids. I think this one's really important if you have kids who are using devices, that we make sure that we say out loud and develop those thought patterns for them. I'm going to set my phone down for a while. I'm going to leave my phone in the kitchen while we play this game or read this book or watch this movie. If somebody needs to call you and you step in, that's a healthy use of the tool. If you're doom scrolling, maybe not so healthy. Reduce distractions. This one's pretty straightforward. Manage your notifications. You probably don't need notifications on social media every time somebody likes your post. Text notifications, if you are working or interacting with different people, those are good notifications. So identify for yourself what notifications are important and helpful versus a distraction. And then also try to make it less appealing. Setting your screen to a grayscale is a feature that a lot of these phones have, and that can make it easier to not be so attracted to the light, right? Like, the moth that flies into the light. We're kind of like that with our phones, I feel like. And then promote well-being. Schedule time to just focus on work without notifications. Take breaks. Go for a walk without your phone. Go to the grocery store without your phone, and write your list on a piece of paper like we did 20 years ago. Just having those little breaks from having a device. We didn't used to carry devices and the world still went round. And one of the things that I really like to think about when we're talking about device use, what do the aliens think of us, you guys? We're addicted to these little boxes, scrolling through little pictures. What do the aliens think? Like if they were watching, they'd be like, why do you use that box so much? What's that box? What's so great about that box? So as you're thinking about well-being, use your phone for health. Having a smartwatch is a great way to monitor activity. But instead of checking your phone out of habit, ask yourself, why am I checking my phone? Is this needed? Is this beneficial? Am I using this device as a tool, or am I using it as a crutch? All right. That's what I have for you guys today. I hope you learned something or at least got some inspiration to use your devices in ways that support you. And if you didn't get lunch, grab lunch. And thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank
Do I need
you.
to say?